Before the arrival of the railroads, Before the arrival of the railroads, electricity, and automobiles, there was an open and vast. Before the arrival of the rail. Before the arrival of the rail.
Welcome to the June 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Will the staff secretary call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Alexander?
Here.
Commissioner Borowiak?
Here.
Commissioner Bridge?
Here.
Commissioner Esparza?
Here.
Commissioner Moreno is absent, excused. Commissioner Pollock-Cushing?
Here.
Commissioner Suchek?
Here.
And Commissioner Short?
Here.
Will Commissioner Suchek lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the secretary read the procedures for addressing the Parks and Recreation Commission tonight?
Citizens addressing the commission during public comment are asked to approach the podium and are limited to 3 minutes unless extended by chair, and must be regarding items that are not on the agenda and are within the city's jurisdiction. The Brown Act does not permit any action or discussion on items not listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on items addressed under public comment.
I will now open public comments. Any public comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Next on the agenda is the approval of the draft meeting minutes of the March 4th, 2024 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Are there any questions or comments from the commission about the March 4th minutes?
The March or the February?
March was our last meeting.
March, okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next on the agenda is item 6.1, C63 Neighborhood Park Master Plan. Tara G.
Good evening. I'm Tara G., your Park Planning and Development Manager, and I'm here tonight to talk about the master plan for C63. C63 is a 2.5-acre site located in the Creekview area. Hopefully that's not hurting somebody's ears. The roads surrounding the park are Lemonade Lane, Treehouse Lane, Lower Bank Drive, and Grass Creek Drive. The budget for the entire budget, including soft costs as well as construction costs, is $1.2 million. The park is not yet owned by the city, and typically the property is transferred right before we begin construction. Our public outreach began in September 2023 with a virtual workshop. Approximately 40 residents attended, and we received lots of feedback about supporting a children's play area with shade, basketball, picnic, and grass areas being the top priorities. Other items suggested were splash pads, pickleball, and skate tracks. In this meeting, there were a large number of comments where residents didn't necessarily agree on all the comments received. For example, do we want a restroom? Do we not want a restroom? Do we want a half court for basketball? Do we want a full court for basketball? Pickleball versus basketball court, or anything else like that. Taking all that feedback into consideration and looking at the size and shape of the park, the close proximity to the residents, limited parking, traffic concerns, and the budget, a rough sketch shown here on this slide was presented to the neighbors in an in-person meeting in December. 30 people attended that meeting. And just for your reference, that thick dashed line in the sketch represents the main walkways that connect to the sidewalks. Also shown is a children's play area, swings, picnic, and more towards, located more towards the middle, and a separation between those activities and a half court for basketball. Items such as full court for basketball, splash pad, pickleball, skate track, and even dog parks are amenities that attract users from all around the city. And given the location and the limitations described here with the narrow streets on either side and again, close proximity to neighbors, no parking, and concerns about additional traffic, these items don't necessarily fit into the neighborhood context of this park. During the in-person meeting, it was suggested that the basketball court be moved north even further because the neighbors have a social event that occurs frequently with food trucks. And people could use the basketball court, bring their lawn chairs, and socialize while eating. So in that meeting, a vote supported moving the half court for basketball more north. The park improvements proposed in the master plan on the next slide, thank you, are a multi-purpose court for basketball and social gatherings, a shaded play area, swings, shaded picnic area, a looped pathway, natural grass, landscaping, and irrigation. These improvements, plus the design, permitting, inspection, and project management, which we consider as soft costs, meet the budget. If approved, and as the plan is further refined, the grass area may be further decreased or potentially increased depending on what the cost of construction is at the time of bid. In addition to the park features shown, some residents have asked for consideration of a zip line. This graphic shows how one can be incorporated into the plan. It is an additional cost and currently exceeds the current budget. However, we can add this as an add alternate to the bid and then see what the bid's results will be. If we receive competitive bids, we could consider adding that into the plan if the bids and the time of the bid where construction is still on a high note, this may or may not be added, at least initially. So next steps, if approved, we will forward this master plan to the City Council. We will start construction document preparation, and the schedule to break ground would be spring of 2025. The action tonight is to approve the master plan, including the zip line as an add alternative for C63 Neighborhood Park, and forward to the City Council for a formal approval pending environmental clearance. This concludes my presentation, and I stand ready and answer any questions you may have.
Open it to the commission for comment.
Tara, the section on the that looks like kind of an A on the bottom. I don't see it labeled. It's kind of the DG path kind of borders it along with the concrete. Is that just some?
Yeah, so you're looking at slide 5, I believe, with the full proposed master plan?
The new one.
Yeah, so on the bottom there, there is proposed decomposed granite, the two kind of spikes to the corner. That is decomposed granite, proposed because it's a little less expensive to install. It's still ADA accessible and provides a nice walking pavement.
And in between that is just some
Natural bark.
Yeah, okay.
Mulch, and some plantings.
Okay.
So thank you for sharing that, because that, again, if we receive competitive bids, we'll be able to expand or keep that level of grass. However, if the bids and the costs are increasing or at the same level they are now, that grass area might shrink and that bark area might grow.
Okay.
Tara, you mentioned the decomposed granite path. Since it's already part of this park, have there been any consideration to making more of the paths DG in order to save budget for the grass and the zip line and those types of things?
That's always a possibility. As a reminder, these master plans are high-level plans. As we get into more detail, start refining the materials costs, that is a consideration that we would look at. One of the things with grass adjacent to decomposed granite, we have to be careful because if it's always wet, then it's not a really great path to walk on.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that's right.
After you.
Oh,
After
okay.
you.
2 quick ones. I think you probably said it, but I missed it. What's the acre size on this?
It's 2.5 acres.
2.5, okay. And then the plan for increasing and decreasing, is that just taking over some of the existing, or is there is it defined at this point, or would that happen later on?
That usually happens during the construction document phase where
Okay,
we're
so that would be
getting
later.
into the refined details.
Okay, thank you.
I want to point out that a half-court basketball court kind of lines up with the intersection and doesn't impact anybody, I hope, of course. And the second question I have, number 12, the berm, the mound. How high is it off the court?
We usually will go maximum at 30 inches. That is consistent with crime prevention through environmental design. That allows police to look in without seeing obstructions. And I did, thank you, I failed to mention that there was concern during the public write-in period, the 2-week write-in period, from some of the neighbors across the street. They were concerned that all of the amenities are on the north side of the park. The reason that is, obviously, the basketball court was requested to be moved up there, and then clustering the playground and the picnic area is more efficient use of, with dual use of the concrete and all of that. It really pointed to a more efficient layout of use for this park.
Well, like I say, I think the location of the basketball court that lines up with the intersection, I think it's a good location. And then with regard to the zip line, how long, how high is it?
We do not have all of those details. It's anywhere between 30 and 50 feet long. And similar to Elizabeth Jane Fittement, we have a zip line there. It'd be similar to that.
Okay, and how high?
How high? They're usually about 8 feet.
8 feet?
Yeah, and then they dip down and they go back up again.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for now.
Is there any potential for phasing to add amenities at the south side to just kind of, as the neighbors have kind of asked about everything being clustered up north? Is there any intention someday to do anything on the south?
There's always a someday. We have 4 parks to build, and this will be the first one. Given the way inflation and the cost of construction is, we really do need to wait until we finish the 4th park, make sure that we do have a 4th park, and then we'll be able to look at what we can add to the other parks. The biggest concern is that it's not a unlimited funding source,
Right.
and I would hate to get to the 4th park and not be able to build anything.
Absolutely.
So we're pacing ourselves right now.
Okay.
Senator? Okay. We'll open it for public comment. Any public comment? We'll go ahead and close public comment. Is there a motion to approve the master plan for C63 Neighborhood Park?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Tara, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next, we have 6.2 KT-52 School Park Master Plan. Tara again. Ms. Tara G.
Again, so this one is a 7.6 acre site located on Sierra Vista on Sierra Village Drive at Silver Spruce. It's west of Westbrook Boulevard. It is located immediately south of a future elementary school. The budget's, because this is a bigger site, the budget is a little bit bigger. It's $3.6 million, but that includes, again, all the soft costs, permitting, as well as construction. The park is not yet owned by the city, and as similar to C63, when we are about to build the park, we will ask for the transfer of that park site for construction. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between a neighborhood park and a school park site. The school district in this particular area is Center Joint Unified and is a separate entity from the city. They have not quite established their timing for construction for the school. So if we move forward as planned, this will be the first park that we've built before the school's actually there, so a little bit different. Many of our parks are planned adjacent to schools, which allows for both the school district and the city to stretch our resources to provide a wider variety of recreation. So for example, if the school district built volleyball courts, we would not plan that as a city in this site here. The same goes with parking. If the school builds, generally will build a parking lot, and if the city expands the capacity of the parking lot, the school, there's more for both. So the school will have more parking for big nights like back to school night or open house, and the park will be able to take advantage of a parking lot on weekends, evenings, and non-school hours. So in the first meeting, which is usually a virtual meeting, we held that in November in 2023. 60 residents attended and provided priorities. The priorities ended up being youth cricket and multi-use playfield, shaded picnic areas, shaded play areas, and basketball. We also had a second in-person workshop in January where 20 people attended. And given the budget, we would not be able to, we determined after looking at it that we would not be able to fully develop the entire 7.6 acres. It's it's the way things are going these days where we have to prioritize what we're building to meet the priorities of the neighborhood. So in this sketch, we showed a youth cricket field, which can also be played for soccer, shared parking with the future school, a full court for basketball, and in this case, we proposed what's called a Coco court, so K-H-O. It's a very popular game in South Asia, and if it wouldn't take away, it's on the same size as a basketball court, so it's a form of tag, and it's a fast-growing sport, or actually one of the top sports in that country. We also showed a children's play area, a restroom, and a labyrinth. Concerned about the labyrinth, specifically the size of it, people were looking at it. Really, it was hard to describe what that function would be, but it's more of a natural kind of maze that would occur in a natural area. And they were concerned about the size of it compared to the play area. So that was a concern that came out of the in-person workshop. There was support for the basketball court, of course, the play area, the cricket and multi-use field, and unfortunately, there was a definite no on the Coco court, which will now be proposed as a full court for basketball. So we're just not ready for Coco yet. So here's the final master plan. Of course, the Coco court, as I just mentioned, was removed, and so is the labyrinth. The labyrinth is now proposed as more of a natural play area. The plan also includes the multi-use grass area that can accommodate both cricket and soccer. It does include shaded play area, covered picnic area, a restroom, full court for basketball, off-street parking that will eventually connect to the school, and a loop pathway. I mentioned also the nature play area, and of course, the dark green area is the landscaping and irrigation. You'll see on the edges that are brown, that is landscaping, and in the top left corner will be undeveloped area as well. This plan has been shared with the school district with their support. And so here's some inspirational images that will help. The top row is more of your natural or informal pathways. Some of the material has not yet been determined. It could be decomposed granite, it could be pavers, it could be dirt. The bottom row are using trees and boulders as natural play features. So different types of configurations that could happen. So similar to C63, the next steps would be to, if you approve this, to forward it to the city council, begin preparation of construction documents and start construction. It's on the same timeline as well, and our goal is to break ground on this one in the spring of 2025. So your action tonight is to approve the KT 52 master plan and forward it to the city council for formal approval pending environmental clearance. This concludes this presentation. I turn it back to you for any questions you may have.
Open it for commission comment?
I got a couple of questions. The elevation of the park, is it just pretty much all level, or is there, I was just kind of wondering if that top left corner of the undeveloped area, if that was kind of a hill or if that's just flat?
It's pretty flat, yeah.
And then my other question about the Coco court, does that just add lines, or what's the,
It
what does
does.
it entail?
It is like hash marks on both sides, so basically you start on one end, and I'm not the cocoa expert, but what I've learned is that you start on one end, and people are standing on the hash lines as you go try to race to the other end without getting tagged. And so you can Google it, and it's
I just
pretty
looked it up.
interesting. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, and the ones that you see on the YouTube are adults, but it's a very popular children's sport.
Well, I understand that it was voted down, but if it's just lines on a court, that doesn't seem like it would be very expensive to add, given all the other part of it is I don't know the demand is there for, we're not ready for Coco yet, I guess, but it just seems like it's an easy thing to add if it.
Well, and that's why we proposed it, but especially because cricket will be here too, and it's, the same community that might use it. It could be something that can be added later too, if we find that there's a demand. So right now, it was a pretty adamant no, and we really didn't want to push it because we don't know how popular it is. But if there's a demand, we certainly would look at it in the future.
What amenities would be on the school site compared to this site?
We don't know yet because we haven't seen their master plan. I don't even think they've even started, or if they have, it hasn't been shared. But typically, it's hard courts.
Right.
Typically, it's basketball, volleyball, foursquare, wall ball, those types of
Right.
amenities.
And the hydroseed area, is that native grass, wildflowers,
It's native.
just native grasses?
We can mix wildflower, self-seeding, but it's really going to be natural.
Okay. And then final question on the maze, natural play area. Actually, I have one more after this. The height of the materials, is it meant to hide people like a maze would, or it's just to kind of define pathways?
Yeah, it'd be flat. So on the next one where the inspirational images are, you can see like the middle picture,
Right.
thank you, the middle picture, or even the one on the top right, you can see straight through it.
Okay.
It's like following a pathway, and the kids.
Kind of like a sensory
do
path.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they can chase each other or just have a nice little walk.
Okay. And I'm assuming comfort station is another word for restrooms?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thought so. Thank you.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, this is our first cricket pitch?
Well, we have several.
We do?
have
Okay.
one in Maidu, at
Okay.
Maidu, and we have one at Santucci Park.
Okay.
So this will be our third.
Okay, cool.
But this is a youth size one, right?
Yes.
Is that different than the other ones?
It is different. The other two are larger.
Okay.
Do we have organized cricket leagues here in Roseville?
There are, actually, and the youth league is growing and growing, so that's why we wanted to consider this here.
Boy, I was asleep at the switch on that one, that's for sure. With regard to the school district, have we done a joint use deal with them before?
We do. John Bayou Park next to Fortune Elementary. John Bayou Park is about to break ground. That is with Center School District. So
Yep.
this will be the second.
Yeah, my only concern is that if they haven't got a plan, and, I just want to make sure that they looked at this plan and are keeping it in mind when they develop their plan.
Right.
Because it's a little hard to do all the amenities of a park if you don't know what's going next door in the school.
Yeah, that is true, and that's why we shared this plan with them, to make sure that they understood where we were going, where we were proposing to connect the parking lot and more, so.
Okay, all right, well, I'm glad they had a look at it, and, because if they didn't, then we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Going off of that, do you know, is it an elementary or a middle school or that's going in?
Elementary school.
That makes a difference. Amenities, working for a school district makes a difference. So it's elementary. And what side, looking at the map that we're seeing, what side will this school be on?
It'll be on the left.
Closer to, so on the same side where the parking
Yeah,
lot is?
so where the parking
Okay.
lot would connect to, they would be their parking lot.
So kind of building off of this line of thinking that we're talking about, it being an elementary school and we're proposing, that we'd have a joint use, I think it's safe to say that the elementary school will have basketball courts. I'm kind of surprised to see that we're putting our resources toward a full basketball court on this site.
Yes, it was originally proposed because it was dual, but everybody really liked that full court, and it's a school park site, which is bigger and different than the one that we just saw before. And the fact that we don't know exactly the timing of this school made it a little bit more of a priority to put one in.
I guess I would, it's not my neighborhood, obviously, but I would be looking more at like pickleball or other courts that you wouldn't expect a school to build if I were in that neighborhood. But I understand the school's still a ways away. It's not like it's coming up right up behind. So I just wonder if, can the basketball court be put in a way that maybe it could be repurposed later?
It could become a cocoa court later.
Right, yeah, exactly. We're cuckoo for cocoa. Well, that was just my concern.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on what Jeff said with regard to the basketball courts, elementary schools, their baskets a little shorter.
Yes, they are.
And so I take it, the height of these baskets will be normal 10 feet?
Yeah, they'll be the high school level.
Okay.
It usually depends on the
Tall.
district. In Roseville, I only see the 10-foot. In Rockland, they have some 8-foot
Right.
ones. But the other issue, like around my neighborhood, is the schools put the fencing up. And while we're supposed to be able to have access, it's not as easy to get to the courts. So I don't know what this district does as far as.
Yeah. I just remember my elementary school, the baskets were 8 feet high, so when I got into high school, I was able to dunk.
Well, that does
Yeah.
bring up a good,
But a 10-footer
that
though.
does bring up a good point. I know for us, all of our schools are gated, and they were originally supposed to be open on the weekends. I know the one I live by is not open on the weekends, and so nobody has access to the basketball court. I'm by Caseburg Park, so there's no basketball court at Caseburg Park, except for the ones that are on the school. So to his point, if not knowing whether they're going to gate theirs, a lot of the school districts do for safety.
Yeah, the security right now, it dictates that they would prefer having security fencing on. We do have a joint use agreement with all the school districts, Center as well. And, just like Rex Fortune, when we build the park, then they will open the gates. So we'll work with the school districts, and, we did hear that Caseburg did have a new fence, so we're working on that.
It was open, it was open for the short time when they put the fencing in.
Yeah, we'll look into it. We'll talk with the
Do you know
school
someone, Renee? you
I
can-
might know someone. Is that it for commission comment? Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment. Is there a motion to approve master plan for KT 52 Neighborhood Park?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Tara, for that presentation. Next on the agenda is item 6.3, PRL Scholarship in Operation Swim Suit. Christy LaRoche and Megan Eaton.
Good evening. Good evening. Megan and I are here to share information about our PRL scholarship program, including our Operation Swimsuit. We thought that this presentation would be a fun informational piece about a highly beneficial program that PRL offers. So what is the PRL scholarship? We recognize that there are individuals, City of Roseville residents, that may not be able to participate in paid programming due to the cost not being affordable for their family. Therefore, the creation and redevelopment of this program became. PRL originally had 3 types of fee assistance. However, in 2021, staff decided to revamp the entire program, creating a singular, consistent, easy-to-use program. The PRL scholarship was established to create opportunities for Roseville residents to participate in recreation and library programs who might otherwise not be able to due to economic challenges. Annual acceptance to the PRL scholarship is required. The requirements for the scholarship are applicants must be a City of Roseville resident, income eligibility guidelines must be met by the household. The income guidelines are the same as the HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and applicants must complete an application with proof of residency, proof of income, and upon completion of the application and verification of all the documents, applicants are notified that they have been approved for $200 per household member, and it's added to their registration account to be used for programming within that calendar year. The applicant is responsible for paying 10% of the program's registration and use the remaining amount as their scholarship funding. The PRL scholarship can be used on a variety of recreational library program fees as promoted in our Experience PRL magazine. The scholarship cannot be used towards childcare or preschool, birthday parties, facility or event admission, trips, snack bar, fines, golf, or facility rentals, but it can be used for everything in between. Acceptance, as I mentioned, is on the calendar basis for January through December, and as you can see with the chart on the screen, calendar year 2023, there was 184 recipients of the scholarship, awarding over $36,000 to be used towards registrations. To date, 94 recipients have been awarded for a total of $18,800. Although you see the 2024 number low, please know that it will grow over the next 7 months as we are anticipating meeting or possibly exceeding our 2023 number. An additional component of the PRL scholarship program is our Operation Swimsuit. I will turn over to Megan to explain more about this piece of our scholarship.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Megan Eaton. I am the Recreation Coordinator who is leading the Operation Swim Committee. Let me tell you a little bit about this component of the PRL scholarship. Applicants that receive the PRL scholarship and decide to use their scholarship money on swim lessons also receive a swimsuit and towel to be used during their swim lessons. This ensures that the participants have the necessary supplies needed to participate in the program. Boutique nights have been happening for many years at Johnson Pool. Through generous donations, sponsorships, revenue from events, hundreds of swimsuits have been distributed to families in need. Along with suits through our partnerships with California Capital Aquatic Swim Club, they have graciously donated towels to also be provided. As you can see on the chart, the program has consistently served families since 2011. Most recently, in 2023, a total of 248 swimsuits and towels were distributed. We will again be offering boutique nights, however, due to the construction at Johnson Pool, these events have been moved to Vernon Street Town Square on June 20th and June 27th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. We will also be offering traveling boutiques to 2 of our elementary schools, Caseburg and Woodbridge Elementaries. The PRL scholarship funds are supported annually from the specific community events such as Mayor's Cup Annual Golf Tournament and the Turkey Trot Fun Run, where the proceeds are reinvested back into the fund. Annually, PRL caps the total funds awarded to $40,000. The amount is the amount that the fund is replenished annually from the events and sponsorships. Another opportunity to contribute to the Operation Swim portion is participation in our sponsorship program, which has a variety of levels to give back to this much-loved program.
So this concludes our presentation on the PRL Scholarship and Operation Swim. Megan and I are stand for any questions that you may have about the programs.
Questions from the commission?
Thanks. That's really cool that we do that. That's a great thing. Do the scholarships, do they roll over, or is it use it or lose it throughout the year?
That's a great question. It is use or lose it for that year. We do have people that can reapply every year and get the money right back onto their account to be used.
Okay. And typically, what kind of percentage of the money ends up being used? Or is it?
It really varies. For some of our families, because we just revamped this program, they're still getting used to it. As I mentioned before, we used to have 3 separate programs, one of which was specific to a day camp program, one of them was specific to swim lessons, and then one could be used on any type of program. What we did when we kind of merged them together is I think people are still trying to understand that they can be used any which way that they want, because we still sometimes get contacted of, oh, do you still have a swim sponsorship or scholarship? And we say, of course we do. So I think people are still learning. So we don't have an exact hold on that as far as the percentage used, but I will say that some individuals that have already registered for our summer programs have used all of their scholarship dollars already.
Yeah, I could see it. It would go pretty quickly, but
It does.
I'm happy to see we're doing it. Thank you.
Yes.
Do families have a cap on the number of kids that can, can you apply for more than one scholarship if you have more than one child?
Yes, so the scholarship is awarded to your family, so however many members are in your family. So if you are a family that consists of 8 children, all 8 would be eligible for the $200 apiece.
Okay.
But they don't have to necessarily spend it $200 per family member? So
No.
would a family of 4, for instance, they would qualify for up to $800 total dollars for the family, all of which could be spent on children's programmings, even though the adults qualified for the program, is that correct?
Well, it would be $200 per individual. So if you had, if that family of 4 received $800, it would still only be $200, $200, $200, $200.
Okay,
So
that was my
I
question.
couldn't combine it together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So going off of that, then, so the adults could also use it towards programs for themselves?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic, okay. Any
Do
other
they
questions?
take, where they take donation, or like, are they donated swimsuits for the program?
Yes, we absolutely accept donated swimsuits. We can accept them at any of our facilities if people would like to bring them in. We do only provide the swimsuits for youth and teens. We no longer do provide them for adult age group. The need wasn't there for a long period of time. So yes, if you have a swimsuit and you would like to donate, we ask that they are new so that we can provide the new swimsuits, but we would be happy to take them.
And I think, I don't know how many of you participated in the past, but the commission was invited to be part of the handing out process. Are those invites going to come out again? Because it was a fun day. It was really hot, but
Yes,
fortunately there was some shade at Johnson. But
Absolutely, I can send those out to you.
okay, thank you.
Great.
Other commission comments? Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? We'll close public comment. It's information only, so no action required by the commission. Thank you, Christy and Megan, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is item 6.4, trail abrasion. Eric Dexter and Christy LaRoche.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Eric Dexter, and you already know Christy. We're here to share some information about a self-guided program to celebrate our amazing trail system called Trail Abrasion. So what is Trail Abrasion? Well, it's an opportunity to come out and check the various trails throughout the city. We have over 40 miles of trails now through August 16th. There's going to be 10 locations to check out. And they go along the open space, our parks, and throughout our entire system. This is really a partnership between PRL and our Public Works Department to encourage health and wellness in the community, and 9 of the 10 trails have access to all people. We want to encourage people to get out into the open space, check out nature while they're out there, and most of all, have a good time while they're doing it.
To set off on your adventure, be sure to grab a Trailibration passport, as you can see on your screen. Passports are located at all 3 libraries, but you can also print them out at home directly from our website, which is the city's website /Trailibration. Once you have your passport, you're ready to go. Next, you will visit each trail, and when you get there, you will see a sign, and that sign will have a special unique icon, as you can see on your screen. The goal is to get to all 10 locations. Then you can get prizes such as frisbees, spinners, sunglasses, water bottles, stickers, binoculars, and more. We will also have a grand prize where several people will get a 4-pack to future PRL events. And we've also added another feature this year, which is our scavenger hunt. Next slide. So the scavenger hunt includes items to look for when you're out on the trails. There are actually 2 different scavenger hunts. This is one of them that you see. And it's a fun way to keep out on the lookout for all the amazing things outside in nature. And we have also brought back the interactive map.
So here's a screenshot of the map. So if you go to the Trailibration website, you'll see this interactive map. You can zoom in, zoom out. It'll take you to the 10 locations, very specific geolocated spots so you can find it. Makes it easy to find. Each one, if you zoom in, it has a little description of the general area. So when you're out there, it helps you find the spot to go to make it a little bit easier to find that trail when you're out there. So one of the things we talked about is the nature trails. So this is one of the things we've been working on over the last few years. And this is our first one we're going to be sharing with the community. And this one is going to be over by Mahaney Park. It's already a native natural area that a lot of people are familiar with. But now we're identifying the trails in there. We're adding signage that will inform some of the community about vernal pools, about oaks, about various things in the open space so they can learn some stuff as they're out on the trail. The goal of the natural trails is to, over time, sort of direct traffic on these natural trails to reduce the impact on the open space preserve areas, as well as use it as an opportunity to educate the community about the various things in the open space.
So at the conclusion of Trailibration, the idea is to bring your completed passport to the Vernon Street Town Square on Friday, August 16th. We do have our regular Friday Flicks event that starts at 7 p.m. There'll be a PRL booth that you can turn in your passports and collect your prizes. So whether you're a family that's completed 1 trail or all 10s, we still have a prize for you. So if you can't come to the event, that's no problem. You can visit any one of our libraries from August 20th through the 26th to turn in your passport and pick up your prize at that time.
And this concludes our presentation about Trailibration. We hope to see you out on the trail, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Open it for commission comment?
Have you got one of these Trailibration signs on Linda Creek on the south side?
Not yet, not that location, no.
The reason why is I look out my window and I see something that looks like a music stand. So I thought it might be this.
I don't think that's that's not one of our locations this year.
Okay. And then just I know you're not ready for this question, but any report on the progress of the Linda Creek Trail?
The Dry Creek?
The construction, yeah.
The construction, so that's in progress right now. We don't manage that project, our department doesn't. It's alternative transportation. But that is in progress right now, the extension from Riverside down to Rocky Ridge.
Right.
Yeah, so it's I think a 2-year project.
Yeah,
So.
I watch it every day.
Yeah, it's in progress.
Okay.
It's coming along.
Thank you.
Picking up on something you said, so the intent is that each year that you do this, you would change locations to expose people to different aspects or different areas within the city's trail system.
Yeah, so this is the second year we've done it. Last year, we kept a couple popular locations like Mahaney and Maidu. We moved the location of where the signage is to find, but a couple of those sites that are very popular to the community, we've left those and then added different locations and like I said, even adding a natural trail this year so that people can come and check that out if they're not familiar with it.
You said 9 out of the 10 paths were accessible, or was that, or is it 9 out of 10 plus the natural?
What I meant is the natural trail is not as accessible as the paved trails. That's what I was trying to say. So yeah, they're all accessible, but like some ADA compliance, obviously on a natural trails wouldn't necessarily be there for people with certain disabilities.
Well, me and my kids already made plans to do the one a weekend, so I think it's great. It's so comprehensive that we're getting people into the libraries, out on the trails. You know, it's then ends it with a movie. So and also just want to say bravo on the that scholarship fund. I think that's amazing because we have so many programs to offer, and it gets expensive. So.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll open up for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment. This item is information only. No action is required of the commission. We'll thank Eric and Christy for their presentation.
If we end this, I'm going to drop off one of the prizes for all of you so you can have a prize to take home with you.
We're just giving it to them before they earn it themselves, right?
So we got some homework.
Yeah, promise you're going to go on the trails.
So I can tell my kids what they'll get when we're out there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's cool.
Yeah, that's really cute.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, now next is board member commissioner staff report. Are there any reports from staff?
I do have just a few things to report on. As you know, we are doing 2 major projects at Weber Park and at Johnson Pool, and I'm excited to tell you that both of those are currently under construction. We know the community is going to be very excited about that as well. Weber Park should be completed in the spring of 2025. And Johnson Pool will be closed this summer, but in summer of '25, we'll be opening a brand-new and improved Johnson Pool. So very excited about that. If you drive by either of those locations, you will definitely see the construction. There's a lot going on. My second item, you probably know the goats are here. People love the goats, and we know how much they love the goats. So our staff are planning a goats meet and greet on June 24th and 25th, and this is an opportunity for people to interact with and pet the younger goats. And so one of these will be at Mahaney, one will be at Maidu, still in the planning stages, so look for more information on our goats meet and greet to come. Our summer concerts on the square start this month, and we're starting off with a bang on June 15th with Red, which is a Taylor Swift cover band, so we feel like there might be a few people there, not sure, but we're very excited to start our concerts this summer. And this Saturday, from 10 to 1, is our first ever Roseville Blaster Blitz at the Mahaney All-Weather Field. This is a foam dart battle, and it's designed for families to compete together, to do this event together. We already have over 200 people registered, but there's still space available, so if you know anyone that wants to get in a foam dart battle, they can sign up for the Blaster Blitz. And lastly, I sent you all a link to our gold medal video, and hopefully you've had a chance to look at that, but that was the final step in the gold medal process. You know that we're a finalist this year. The recipient will be announced in October, but part of the requirements was that we submit that video, so I wanted to share that with you for your information as well. And that's all I have.
Any comments from commissioners?
I was going to say, I watched the video before coming here. It looks really great.
Thank you.
I agree with that. I am very bummed that we are unable to participate in the Blaster foam dart event. I really hope it goes well, though, and want to participate next year. So
It is planned to be an annual event.
good.
That speaks to your creativity with this goat meet and greet. I mean, we should sell like those little autograph books at the theme parks and just have the goats sign them. It's going to be a great summer. So congratulations to your whole team for putting this whole thing together. Unbelievable.
I also am excited for the goat meet and greet and look forward to that one. And I live not far from Weber Park. And it's been fascinating to see the construction and how quickly they seem to be moving along. What happened, where did all the dirt go?
You want to help?
Some of the dirt went down the street
That's what I-
to the development that's across from Caseburg Park, and then the other half went to the dump.
I was wondering about the development because somebody had told me that. They said, oh yeah, the dirt from Weber Park. And, are you sure? I said, yeah, it came from Weber Park.
So just to share, the bid for the dirt removal included all the dirt going to the dump, which would have been a 2-hour round trip, but moving half of it down the street, it took 15 minutes round trip. So there was a huge savings that the city realized by doing that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I take it this dirt had a lot of organics in it?
Not quite, no. It was
Okay.
actually a lot of decomposed granite.
Oh, okay. The reason why I ask is if it has organics, that's what goes to the dump.
Yeah. I think it was just the location that the contractor chose to take it to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not in the dirt moving business anymore, so.
Is that it?
Well, speaking of, yeah, I just moved I had to move about 3 yards of dirt that I had dug out from my front yard out, and yes, it got expensive. As a family who enjoys Taylor Swift, we were looking forward to it. Unfortunately, my daughter's birthday party is the same night, so we weren't going to be able to do it. But we have been enjoying the social media on announcing it. That's been fun. And then it just reminded me on the open spaces when that came up. We've got the signage for the open spaces. Is there any opportunity to put the sign for ours is completely faded? You can't read anything. Is that just what's the best way to request maybe a?
You can feel free to send that to me, but I know Eric and his team have been doing a sign inventory of all of our trails throughout the city because we realize there's some signage that needs replaced. But if you'd send me that location, we'll make sure we hit that one.
We'll do it. Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda is our last item, number 8, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the June 3rd, 2024 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is adjourned at, I have 6:52 PM. Our next meeting will be Monday, July 1st, 6 PM. So adjourned.
We know we take